Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Michelle Johnson. I'm the State Director for Adult and Family Education at the DC Office of the State Superintendent of Education. We'd like to take this opportunity to welcome you to our afternoon mini professional development institute session from the DC Department of Human Services, focusing on supportive and wraparound services for adults, youth, and families in the District of Columbia. Also, Dr. Heather Bruce from the University of the District of Columbia will be welcoming you as well. And I'd also like to first thank the Department of Human Services for agreeing to facilitate this session for our providers and partners. And additionally, also to thank the Adult and Family Education team who will be providing technical assistance and support during the webinar. Stacy Downey, Nakia Lynch, Tracy Richard, and Cynthia Brown are all members of the AFE team. They'll be monitoring the chat. If you have any technical issues or you need information, please feel free to just pose a question. Additionally, we'll have questions and answers at the end of the session. Please also feel free to put your questions in the chat, and we'll make sure to apprise the Department of Human Services staff so they can respond to your questions as well. The team from the Department of Human Services include DeJuan Wade. She's a supervisor for operations and training. Lauren Buns, the program analyst. Monet Thomas, program analyst. Tanisha Williams, program analyst. Terry Winston, policy analyst. And Mr. Eric Calhoun, supervisor, economic security administration. And if there are other DHS presenters, I know that Lauren and the team will make sure that they introduce those individuals. And Dr. Bruce, could you please do us the honor of extending a welcome as well?
Definitely. I'm Dr. Heather Bruce, Director of the Adult Education Program. On behalf of the University of the District of Columbia, I welcome you. Thank you.
Thank you. And without further ado, we turn it over to the team at DHS.
Good afternoon, everyone. So we're here today to begin to talk a lot about the supportive services available for district residents with the Department of Human Services. To start out this particular presentation, we'll begin with our TANF Employment and Educational Program. Well, before we get started there, we are going to introduce the team of supportive individuals that will be working with us today. To start out this presentation will be myself, Monet Thomas. I'm a program analyst with the Department of Human Services. Then we'll continue to talk about the assessment and referral process with Ms. Lauren Buns, program analyst with the DHS. Back to myself with the placement process. Then we will continue on with our childcare services, Mr. Eric Calhoun, supervisory social service representative with DHS. Ms. Jessica Bacon, who will talk about the Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program. For the listening session component of DHS, we have Ms. Terry Winston and Tanisha Williams. To end our discussion on today, we will be speaking with Kia Williams, who will be discussing our homeless services component with DHS. So Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of need is a theory which posits that human needs are defined using the following 5-tiered model. DHS assists district residents in addressing their needs, as well as offer programming to address need challenges. One of the things that we did want to highlight is the fact that it is very much so suited for DHS to primarily focus on, I think this is sort of the outward appearance of DHS, is for us to focus on the physiological needs of individuals, as well as the safety component, which we'll see highlighted in all of our presentations today. The one thing that's important to note is that for individuals applying for temporary assistance for needy families or the cash benefit, they are required to apply at any of our 5 service centers. A list of those service centers will be indicated at the end of this particular presentation. But a component of that piece is also a requirement for customers to complete something called an orientation and an assessment. Those 2 components are completed at the Office of Work Opportunity. This unit within the DHS, Department of Human Services, is responsible for conducting TANF orientation and assessment as a part of eligibility for receiving TANF and employment, education, and supportive services. This is a very wordy slide, so I'm so glad that we do have this disseminated for all participants to be able to view later. But just a snippet. Programs housed within the Office of Work Opportunity are the following. I wanted to highlight TAP-IT, for example, because this is a financial assistance component that is offered to eligible TANF customers. TAP-IT funds can be used for individuals to pursue post-secondary degrees and cover tuition, books, and mandatory fees. The beautiful cost for this and for individuals to receive this particular assistance is $4,000 per academic year. Another program that is housed within the Office of Work Opportunity is TMC, Targeted Mobility Coaching. This particular unit within DHS is also one of our TEP providers, which we will talk about later. When individuals are coming in to apply and then necessarily complete their assessment, they are required to speak with an assessment specialist on the OWL team. That individual will be responsible for working with the customer to complete a TANF comprehensive assessment, as well as an initial individual responsibility plan. And now I'll turn it over at this time to Lauren Buns.
Good afternoon, everyone. The next portion we're going to discuss is assessments and referrals and how we analyze and or use information that we gather when our clients come in to make sure that we place them appropriately within our programs that we have. So when clients come in, they often do an orientation. This orientation lets them know the ins and outs of the programs, the requirements. It kind of gives them an outline of what to expect, not only for that day, but moving forward within the program. One of the main components that are completed when they come in is the TCA. The TCA, also known as the TANF Comprehensive Assessment, it's about a 90-minute session where we take a lot of things into account. We talk about their family unit, we talk about past history as it relates to work, education. We kind of get a overview of all of the client's needs, assess where they are so that we can better place them and understand how we can better serve them. One of the main components of the TCA and all of programs in general in DHS is that we look at everything through what we call our 2-gen approach or through our 2-gen lens. 2-gen simply is how we incorporate a multi-generational approach into all of the facets of DHS. It is our understanding and our belief that if we take both the parent and the child, all of their needs, all of their considerations into if we take all of their needs into consideration, we can better serve them. So for the example that we have here, if there's a child with a behavioral issue and the parent has to miss work, then that in turn impacts the parent and how they do in their performance at work, but it also impacts how the child is doing in school. So by providing educational services that hopefully meet all of the children's needs or the majority of the children's needs, we can alleviate some of those errors and some of those issues that may come up so that the parent can then focus more about what's going on at work, and then the child can be focused more about what's going on with school to hopefully have a more fruitful education and or employment. So one of the other important components that we discuss when individuals come in and we complete is an IRP or an initial individually responsibility plan. This plan identifies the strengths, the barriers, the goals, and helps the agency determine what services and or where we should put the customer to get them to the point where they need to be so they can become self-sufficient. So the TANF service delivery model, as the other slide we showed, it's pretty wordy. However, this slide is a key component in how we assess where a customer is and how we can determine what services are applicable to them. Based on both the assessment, we kind of use the tools that we've gathered, or excuse me, the information that was gathered at that point, and we kind of use this as a key to navigate where we should place the customer. So for our educational, occupational, and training section, this is typically for customers who have low personal barriers and health barriers, but they also have low levels of education and skill. So the educational and occupational track will help them gain the skills necessary, whether it is going back to school to get their GED or partnering with TAPIT, as Monet said, so that they can get their bachelor's or their associate's or whatever degree they're working toward. Or it may provide them opportunities to do training, which will allow them to get skills that are necessary for the job in the field in which they're trying to go to. So our job placement, sorry.
Apologize, Lauren.
It's all right, no worries. So our job placement service is very similar in regard where it focuses more on the job placement piece. It allows persons to focus on the aspects that are necessary to elevate them to the next point in their job. And it allows us to take into account where the skills they need in order to be able to do the job to the best of their ability. Excuse me for the noise. So the second two sections on there talk about barrier removal and work supports. So those two sections, we evaluate where a customer is, but we do a little bit of a deeper dive, and we kind of recognize that customers who fall into this category need a lot of support before they can even be placed in either the educational component or the job component. So we have to do some type of remediation services as it relates to mental health, rehabilitation. There's a whole host of things that the customer may need before they're even ready to be in either the educational component or the job placement component. Similarly, for the barrier removal and financial support, it is a way that we can assess that the client has several challenges that they need to meet before they can move on to the next section. So we provide them with those mental health connections and or family stabilization connections to make sure that they are ready and set up to be in the next section and can be sustained when they do enter the program. So what happens after the referral? Where do they go? How do we determine where the person is placed? So the TANF Employment and Educational Program is where is what we use to kind of determine where the customer is going to go. The mission of the TEP program is to assist the customers in enhancing their educational and skill levels and preparing for and finding, retaining unsubsidized employment in order to ultimately earn family sustaining incomes and no longer require public assistance. So now we are going to move on to our TEP provider placement. Monet, is this, I guess, the point where you jumping on this one?
I got you here. So it's important to know the Department of Human Services, we talk about our TEP provider services and programs and how all of this sort of fits together. When we're looking at referrals, the indicators that were mentioned in the assessment process and of course indicated in the IRPs that Lauren mentioned a moment ago are all used to help inform where a customer would be placed, not in terms of location, but literally in terms of the type of service that would best suit where the customer is at present. So when we do talk about the model that was mentioned before, we have to focus on three specific areas. We define an individual's placement by EOT, job placement, or other supportive services. If a customer is in fact eligible to participate with an EOT or JP program, they are required to be placed and and to work in one of these activities or types, right? And not working in terms of the employment sense, but working in terms of the sense of engagement. So a customer is able to maintain their TANF in one of these areas. They're able to participate in vocational educational programming, on the job training, community service, and of course, any of these of the like. For customers that are assigned to educational and occupational training programming, this particular provider assists customers with services that are geared towards enhancing their skills in educational supportive services so that they become more employable. For job placement customers, these are individuals that are specifically focused at present toward moving at a speed of rapid employment. So JP customers can engage in EOT programming such as vocational education. But it is important to know that the focus for this particular customer is job prep, search, placement, and retention. Some of our other partners are UDC, PASS program, which is a training and educational program developed for TANF customers by DHS in partnership with UDC, and the public administration program with the School of Business. UDC PASS provides job skills training programs in conjunction with wraparound case management services, and that is very key to address barriers of each assigned customer. In addition to that, we also have a program within DHS called POWER. POWER is equipped to work with customers facing barriers that include domestic violence, education, legal, learning difficulties, substance abuse, mental health conditions, and medical issues. It's also important to note that we do recognize that there are some customers that are eligible to receive TANF, but are unable to participate in the TANF required programming for JP or EOT. So when we do have those instances, individuals are required to submit documentation to follow through with something called an exemption. This is something that is federally and state or district recognized for individuals to be able to, for example, care for their children, if it is the case that they are eligible for TANF for a particular period of time. And as the name designates, DHS retains the authority to grant this exemption on individuals that are eligible for it. And there's a separate process within DHS for individuals to be able to apply for such, but it is an option for families to be able to pursue. As was mentioned earlier, there are 5 service centers within the district where customers are able to apply for TANF. That is Anacostia, H Street, Taylor Street, Fort Davis, and Congress Heights. So at this point in our presentation, we will move forward to discuss our childcare services within DHS.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mr. Eric Calhoun. I am the supervisor for the Subsidized Childcare Services Division. And today we're going to be briefly go over the childcare subsidy services and how applicants can apply, and also how they can apply during this COVID-19 pandemic situation. So without further ado, now, of course, as you can see on the screen, that who's eligible. Of course, in addition to helping income-eligible working families, the Child Care Subsidy Program also serves those families receiving temporary assistance for needy families, which is the TANF program, and training in accordance with the individual responsibility plan. Teen parents, of course, seeking a high school degree or equivalent,
right?
and or families not receiving TANF who are pursuing additional education to improve employment opportunities and prospects. And of course, during this pandemic, it's unprecedented pandemic, we had to kind of adjust our application process for those families who were still in assistance. And of course, right now, the Child Care Services Division has operating hours from 7:30 a.m. to 4:45 p.m. Monday through Friday. And the applicants can apply in a couple of different ways. During the COVID, they have to come into the service centers, or they can come into the service centers and complete a Dropbox application. which means they can just come to the service center and get the actual packet that's pre-enveloped for them. They fill out all the documentation required, and then they'll submit all their required information into the given envelope and seal it with their name and phone number attached on the envelope. And of course, once the management team receives this information, we will disseminate it to our my childcare staff to help assist them via email and telephone conversations. And also, too, those who are receiving TANF benefits can also apply through their TANF employment provider, which is the TEP provider Ms. Thomas and Ms. Buns were referring to earlier, and or through the Office of Work Opportunity. So all they will need is an IRP. For those coming through the Office of Work Opportunity, they will need to have that IRP along with the childcare referral form. And these current CCSD locations are the Congress Site Service Center, which is at 4049 South Capitol Street Southwest, and the Taylor Street location at 1207 Taylor Street Northwest. If I can briefly go through the drop-off applications, and of course, any customer who chooses to drop off their applications or recertification documentation, of course, they are asked to complete the packet as stated before, and submit all required documents to the envelope provided. And of course, our team will reach out to them via email and telephone conversation to complete that request. And of course, we will follow up with any information with either to the applicant and or the childcare provider to make sure the process is completed timely. The childcare referral applications, if of course being referred through the TEP provider or OWO, the assigned case manager will submit the application packet, including the childcare referral form and IRP on the customer's behalf. The IRP will be needed only if referred by OWO. The TEP provider representative will be notified of all approved or denied applications via correspondence. So any TEP provider that is corresponding with us on a weekly basis who submit applications for customers, they will be notified directly via email and or telephone conversation to have them contact the parent to let them know whether their application was approved or denied. And of course, at the bottom, the approved applications, as I just stated, that they will be the assigned CCSD worker will inform the customer with the start date of the subsidized childcare and with any associated parent fee or fees for the child or children. The CCSD worker will then send the chosen childcare provider the completed childcare admission form, quote unquote voucher, via email to that chosen provider. Now, any denied applications will have to be resubmitted the following week from all of our TEP providers with all the requirement updated documentation or corrected documentation for the customer. The TEP provider representative or assigned case manager is also responsible for notifying the customer of the denied status. Now, of course, we also have those customers that will want to have center changes during this time and also to add on any new children at this time. So we do have a dedicated web mailbox to assist with that, and that is esa.childcare@dc.gov. Again, that's esa.childcare@dc.gov. This mailbox is normally just used for that purpose, for those who are trying to just add on any children or want to complete any placement changes or center changes for the children that they have already in care. Of course, once received, the CCSD management will assign a child care worker to each request to be processed, again, via telephone and email communication with the customer. And notably, non-traditional services are available, which means that any services that can be rendered outside of our normal core hours of 7 a.m. To really 6 p.m. Monday through Friday are considered non-traditional, such as any care overnight, anything past 6 p.m. or anything up to an hour before 7 a.m., and or on the weekends. So of course, the applicants are required to make sure they have, if they want to choose this type of care, they will have to make sure they make a request in advance when they do their first initial application, so that we can make sure they're paired with the correct provider and that the provider has the appropriate space for their children. Now, lastly, how to get more information about our wonderful child care subsidy program. You can always contact our main office at 202-727-0284, or you can also contact the child care management team, the program manager, Ms. Carmelita Johnson, at carmelita.johnson@dc.gov, the section chief, Ms. Linda Logan, linda.logan@dc.gov, and myself, Mr. Calhoun, at eric.calhoun@dc.gov. And lastly, but not least, if there's anyone or any applicants that you have that may require any assistance in trying to obtain a child care provider or location, they can use this email address at the bottom, and also to this phone number for the Aussie Child Care Connections at 202-829-2500. And thank you guys so much for listening. And of course, does anyone have any questions before we have to move on?
I have one.
Yes, ma'am.
What is the age range for children who are eligible for this service?
Well, the age range starts from 6 weeks up to 12, up to the day before the 13th birthday. After the day of the 13th birthday, they are no longer eligible unless they are a child with special needs, and that child can go up until the age of 19 years old.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Any other questions? Well, thank you all so much for your time, and I appreciate it.
Great. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jessica Bacon. I am a vocational development specialist with the SNAP Employment and Training Program. So we're just going to go over our services today. Okay, so the topics that we'll be discussing, just an overview of the program, eligibility, our COVID-19 considerations, the services and benefits, current SNAP ENT grantees, the events calendar, and of course, if anybody has any questions, and then the next steps for application process. So the DC SNAP Employment and Training Program overview assists DC SNAP recipients in achieving their career goals by providing participants with a broad range of services focused on their interests and needs. The program is voluntary, services are free, and participants receive reimbursements for eligible transportation, childcare, and other expenses related to participation. Services are currently provided both in-house and through sub-grants to 15, I think it's up to 20 community-based organizations and government entities. So who is eligible for the SNAP ENT program? DC SNAP recipients or recent applicants that are not receiving TANF and are able to work upon program completion. So again, the main thing is that a recipient cannot be receiving TANF services. So for benefit questions, they would call the general phone number 202-727-5355. Or you can visit the website, which is pretty long there, but it is posted on the screen. If receiving TANF, you can call their line directly. And any other DC residents can call 202-727-9675 for the American Job Center services, or visit their website, does.dc.gov/service/American-Job-Center. So of course, during the pandemic, there are considerations for COVID-19. While most of the grantees were having services in-house, they are now provided through virtual or remote services, consistent with the public health guidance. So health, safety, and well-being are our primary concerns during this time. Our staff focuses on ensuring these are factored into customer employment consideration and factors in each individual's needs. For more information on resources available to DC residents during the public health emergency, please see coronavirus.dc.gov. So the SNAP ENT services and benefits, the key services, one-on-one career coaching and guidance. So that would be through myself and other teammates, the vocational development specialists, job placement assistance, training and education, resume development, interviewing techniques, computer access. There is a limited loaner laptop program, supportive services, and the participant reimbursements include transportation, work clothing, work tools and supplies, assistance with obtaining identification, tuition and fees, and childcare. The current SNAP ENT grantees, so there's a code there. So like I said, most of them are virtual now. Some are having both in-person and virtual services, and then others are still doing in-person. So Bright Beginnings, Building Bridges Across the River, in Skyland Workforce Center, Bite Back, Coalition for the Homeless, DC Central Kitchen, DC Doors, Department of Employment Services, Innovative Day, Jobs Have Priority, Jubilee Housing, Jubilee Jobs, Mayor's Office of Returning Citizen Affairs, NCIA, Office of Neighborhood Safety and Engagement, So Others Might Eat, Union Kitchen, United Planning Organization, Work for First Foundation, America Works, and YWCA. So these are the December workshops and events. We do have workshops most every month. So the interview skills in workshop was held on December 8th, and the next one is tomorrow on the 15th at 10 a.m. So in this workshop, you will learn how to effectively present your work experience to prospective employers during an interview, receive successful interviewing tips, and participate in mock interviews with trained specialists. The resume writing workshop, one was held on December 9th. The next is on December 16th at 10 a.m. Having a strong and effective resume is an important tool in your job search and building your career. So this workshop provides helpful resume writing techniques and examples of resume formats and templates. And the Job Club workshop, one was held on December 11th, and the next will be on the 18th at 10 a.m. In this workshop, you'll receive updates on local job availability with employers in the district and receive helpful employment advice from trained specialists. We do have a financial literacy workshop. There isn't one this month, but that will continue in January. So this workshop is an introductory and basic information about personal financial management, banking, and budgeting, presented by financial professionals from local DC-based industrial bank. So if anybody wants to sign up for those workshops or events, all of these are now being held virtually, so it's on WebEx. But to register, it would be at dhs.snapet@dc.gov, or just call for more information at 202-535-1178. So the next steps, if an individual is ready to start working with our program, they would set up an appointment by calling the front office or utilizing that email address. And then they would be assigned to a vocational development specialist for an assessment and one-on-one consultation to develop an action plan with next steps. That assessment can take up to an hour, hour and a half, just depending on how much interaction with the customer in the VDS. So to move forward, there's a link, or you could just call the front office at 202-535-1178. That's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I'm Terry Winston with the Division of Customer Workforce Employment and Training. Myself and Tanisha Williams present the ESA Listening Sessions. Thank you for joining me from beautiful, sunny Southern California, as you see. No, I'm just kidding. That's team's backgrounds. Just thought it would be nice on this rainy day. So we're going to talk about the Customer ESA Listening Information Sessions. So my colleagues at DHS have done a wonderful job covering all the definitions, so I'm not going to bore you with that, but it is a part of my PowerPoint if you want to review it later. So basically, the purpose of our ESA listening sessions they started as the TANF Ambassador Program, and we wanted to have a pool of DHS customers that we could talk to on a regular basis. And during this time, we would ask them about suggestions, improvements, and also if we had new applications or software, we would ask them to beta test them. The other thing, it was strictly for TANF recipients, but we've now included the SNAP ENT customers, which is formerly FSET. So that's why we've changed the name to the ESA Listening and Information Session. So that's more inclusive of both programs that DHS has. Our objectives were threefold, mainly to have at least 2 sessions a month, present topics that are helpful to the customers, and schedule the sessions on the same day. So even if it's not every second Wednesday and fourth Wednesday of the month, we wanted them to know that our sessions are going to be on Wednesdays from 10 to 11. And the changes are due to holidays and things like that. The next objective was we wanted to meet our customers where they were. So we would go to the Office of Work Opportunities. We went to provider offices, but since COVID, we now hold all sessions virtually via WebEx. Some of our past topics were adult education with OSSI, childcare with OSSI and DHS. We had a live cooking demonstration with SNAP Education from UDC. We've also covered the DC Lottery, Dress for Success, and we've had a librarian from the DC Public Library. The way we conducted the survey is we emailed customers that had voluntarily agreed to be a part of our database. We emailed 119 people, and of the 119, only 28 individuals participated. So where did these come from? You've heard the different acronyms on EOT, JP, SNAP. So for this survey, most of them came from the SNAP program. We wanted to know how these sessions fit into their schedule. So we asked them, what's the best time? We gave them choices, and overwhelmingly they said early mornings between 8 and 11. We didn't want to do 8 or 9 because when they do return to school or just helping their children with school now, we didn't want to start off their day with with the session. We wanted to give them a moment to settle after they've helped their children get online and things like that. So our sessions are held on Wednesday from 10 to 11. We also wanted to know how comfortable they were with participating in web and Zoom. And we're very pleased to know that over half, 67%, are very comfortable with Zoom. And also happy that no one said they weren't comfortable at all. Another key thing is school involvement. How active are they with their school's PTA or LSAT? These numbers were a little low. We'd like to help increase that. And we think we can, because now most of these meetings occur online also. So it will be easy for them to take part. We wanted to know how they participated. Most of them participate via phone, either listening or watching. The next largest group was using a desktop, but we also had some that use iPads or tablets. We also wanted to know, are these sessions being effective? So we asked, what did they enjoy most? They said the knowledge of the presenters. They enjoy the length of the session, which we really try to keep to an hour. We may go over a little here and there, but not much. And they also enjoy the ease of participating. Then we had some free-form questions where we asked them, what would encourage you to attend more sessions? Stipends, learning information that helps their daily living, employment assistance, and credit for participation. So most of these things we have information of collaborations with DOES, which I'll share in a moment. They do get credit for participation, so that just lets us know we need to be a little more clear on that so they can know that they will get credit for their attendance at our workshop. Then we asked them, what did they hope to gain? And more resources for their family, knowledge and information on teaching children at home, which is a big thing for them. Of course, employment came up again, and any new information that can help them. These are some of the topics that the customers would like covered in the future. How to start a home business or become an entrepreneur. How to find employment that allows them to work from home. Because we all know after COVID, things will not go back to the way they were completely. They also inquired about parenting classes for all age groups of children and classes that teach skills for parents with children that have learning challenges. We also asked them what they felt was missing from the sessions, and most of them said nothing, so that was nice. But they also want to do sessions with their children, which will be a nice welcome change. And of course, job information. This is information on a collaboration with the Department of Employment Services, SNAP ENT, and DC WET. So on Fast Track Fridays, they have the opportunity to actually go to a virtual hiring event. They have to email talent@dc.gov, and that way they can be invited to the correct seminar because it's different employers each week. And then we also have Talent Tuesdays where they can have employers speak to them about different opportunities. And again, we want them to email or call first so that they're matched with a seminar with the employers that fit their skill set. And that wraps it up for us. If you have any questions, please let me know, or you please feel free to reach out to myself, my partner, Terry.Winston@dc.gov, Tanisha.Williams@dc.gov, or our general email box, esa.spot@dc.gov.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kia Williams. I'm the program manager for the Virginia Williams Family Resource Center. Again, thanks for having me today in your mini institution sessions. Virginia Williams is a part of the Department of Human Services, Family Services Administration, and our mission is to provide protection, intervention, and social services that meet the needs of our vulnerable adults and families that we serve here in the District of Columbia. We also have the refugee services that can also be provided to DC residents within the Family Services Administration. Virginia Williams Family Resource Center is the main entry point for DC families who are experiencing homelessness or at risk of experiencing homelessness. Our goal is to help families find safe, suitable services that can prevent the housing crisis that they're currently experiencing. Prior to COVID, we were accepting walk-ins Monday through Thursday. But now, due to the COVID, the public health emergency, we're only providing services virtually to district residents. Okay. As part of the district government, I don't know what's going on with me today. I apologize, y'all. I had 2 back-to-back meetings. In order to provide services to district residents during the public health emergency, Virginia Williams, along with our prevention program, has put providing services virtually. Households can contact the shelter hotline on 202-399. Sorry about that. Yeah, but the computer went. I'm truly sorry for this today. I apologize. Again, households can contact the shelter hotline, and they will be connected to one of the Virginia Williams Family Resource Center staff members, and they will take their information, and then they will be connected to one of our eligibility staff to complete the eligibility process for homeless services. Virginia Williams Family Resource Center also provides prevention services to district residents. We have our emergency rental assistance program, which is ERAP. So we have 6 different providers. We have Salvation Army, which has 2 locations. One location is in Southeast DC and one location is in Northwest. We have the United Planning Organization, Greater Washington Urban League, Housing Counseling Services, and the Community Partnership, which is TCP. Those 6 agencies provide emergency rental assistance for district residents. We also have our homeless prevention program, our HPP program, which provides prevention services to eligible families who apply for homeless services for Virginia Williams. Our homeless prevention program provides case management and wraparound services for those families who either have a family member that they're staying in, or they're currently residing in a unit, or they're residing with a friend. Our goal is to prevent those households from entering our shelter system by providing appropriate case management services, or either referring them to, by either providing first month's rent security deposit, a short-term rental subsidy, or the family may be eligible for our rapid rehousing program. We have 4 providers for our homeless prevention program. We have MBI, Community of Hope, Willow Creek, and Everyone Home DC. Community Hope also has 2 locations. Both are one is in Southeast and one is in Southwest DC. Do we have any questions about the services that we provide at Virginia Williams Family Resource Center?
Ms. Williams, we do have a question asking if you would repeat the phone number. And just before you do, let me tell everyone that please go ahead and unmute yourselves if you'd like to ask a question, or you can type it into the chat.
Yes, that's when my computer went out. The shelter hotline number is 202-399-7093. Again, that's 202 399-7093. During our hypothermia season, we operate our shelter hotline 24 hours a day. So if there's an individual or either a family, they can reach us on that 202-399-7093.
I have one question. Hi.
Hi.
Hi. I'm with the SNAP EAT program, and when we deal with individuals who just currently just receiving SNAP only, consider ABOS, if they are just need just housing, can we just refer to referral there, or give them the information so they can go online and fill out, or this y'all will connect them with a counselor, to service them with housing, just the individual, not families, just one.
Oh, no. So individuals, we don't provide services to individuals at Virginia Williams Family Resource Center on the side of shelter services or housing. So if it's an individual, then they would need to be connected to one of our, they can go through the Adams Day Center, which I can provide you all with additional information on that. They can receive services from that location. But for individuals, we're unable to assist them at Virginia Williams unless they need assistance with emergency rental assistance, which we service individuals and families in that program.
Okay. Yeah, because some are in need of rental assistance.
Yes. So
not with family, just by their.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we can definitely assist the individuals.
Okay.
When it comes to the rapid it comes to emergency rental assistance, but when it comes to housing, the only housing that we're able to assist is emergency shelter, and we don't consider that as housing. But I do know the Adams Day Center, they provide additional resources for different landlords around in the community that would love to rent to households here in the district.
Based on the income, or just no income at all?
It depends on the landlord's requirement.
Thank you.
Thank you. We also have the one pager here that provides information on our emergency rental assistance program. So we want to get that out to everyone to let households know there's populations that we're serving that they can attain rental assistance here in the district. So we want households to apply. We also have connection with the CHAP program, which is the COVID-19 emergency rental program also too, that will be able to assist households who may lost income due to the COVID-19. So we want to make sure that we get the word out to households, we get them to apply for services because we don't know the public emergency is up December the 30th, but we want to make sure that we get households, get this information out to them and encourage them to apply for rental assistance. And the second sheet also provides the locations that we have, as I discussed earlier, of our 6 providers. It gives them their contact number. It also gives them the website. A lot of our providers, you can go online, complete the ERAP application, and upload documents. But we want to make sure we get that information out again to our communities and let them know exactly, please, the services out there that your household may qualify for. But let's get in and apply so we can see exactly what services will be available to the households. Do we have additional questions for Virginia Williams? I was a little bumpy today. I'm going to have to come back and present to you all.
You're fine.
And thank you again for having me and the DHS team with you all today.
We're so happy that you were able to join us. Does anyone have any additional questions about any of the programs and services that were mentioned. We are in close contact with our colleagues at DHS, and if you think of something after the fact, feel free to reach out to them or feel free to reach out to us. Miss, let me see. I think we have an inquiry about where can we find the PowerPoints. They're in the chat, but if you have problems accessing them, please put your email address in the chat and we'll send it to you after the session. We're also going to be posting the PowerPoint presentation and the handouts on our website, the OSCE website, which is where we have the listing of Professional Development Institute sessions and handouts that we had in August. So we're going to make sure that we make these resources available to our sister and brother organizations, as well as other community-based organizations in the city that are striving to address the needs of DC residents. This was a really rich presentation, and I really want to thank the Department of Human Services again for not thinking of robbery to take the time to share this information with all of us. And what phenomenal work you're doing. We applaud you and your efforts to meet the needs of the whole person. And we look forward to having opportunities for you to be part of our future professional development sessions. And hopefully, you know, once the pandemic is over, maybe if your schedules permit, you could be part of our larger events that we have at the University of the District of Columbia, where you can share your gifts and talents and skills with a multitude of individuals. Dr. Bruce, would you like to add anything? Okay, I'm not sure if she's muted or responding to another call. So thank you again, and have a blessed remainder of your day. We hope that you all are able to join us for tomorrow's Professional Development Institute, focusing on meeting, providing wraparound supportive services to underserved and uninsured district residents, including individuals who are immigrants, and then looking at the DC Public Library resources that are made available to children, youth, adults, and families during the pandemic. And then on Wednesday to join us as we focus on addressing the diverse needs of youth in the District of Columbia who are also in need of all of these services, and as well as looking at Covenant House, Washington, Potomac Job Corps, OSCE's Health and Wellness Division that has a wonderful resource for young people to help them to stay focused and identify strategies to deal with stress and depression and things of that sort. And then the Youth Re-Engagement Center. So thank you all again and have a blessed remainder of your day. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye now.
Yes,
Thank you. Have a good evening.
you too. Bye-bye.